I'd like to call this meeting in order of the Madison Fire District Board of Trustees. It's November 15th, 2023, and it's 7 o'clock. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Adams.
Here.
Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Donaldson.
Here.
Mr. Gauntner.
Here.
Mr. Lee.
All right. Will all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. First item on the agenda, we have approval of the October 18th, 2023 minutes. And before I ask for a motion to approve that, I did see on the page 2 of the minutes where we were talking about the ARPA retention grant. The board said that we were, at least the intent was, unless it didn't come out that way in the recording, we were going to cover the employees' portion of Medicare in the pension. Right. Is that how you remember it, Chief?
I remember the pension portion. I don't remember the Medicare portion. You'll have to ask Joanne that.
Okay, because here's what the minutes say. It says each recipient's check can be reduced by the employer portion for Medicare and pension. And I thought that should say employee portion, should it not? Because then when you go down, the motion was motion made to cover the employer pension portion. I think that should say employee pension
Both of
portion,
them should say employee.
not employer.
I wasn't here, but
Right.
Because the employer doesn't have
as
a
I
pension.
read it,
We don't have a
as I
pension.
read
pension.
it,
Yeah,
Right.
it should be employee
Employees.
pension. And that's why I thought up there too, each recipient's check can be reduced by the employee portion of the Medicare and pension, or the district can cover the amount. Is that how you remember it, Jay?
Yeah, that's,
Yep.
we were gonna cover that, correct.
Yeah. So I think both areas where it says employer, it should say employee.
Employee, yes.
Right.
So the minutes, yeah, okay.
Right here.
Yeah. Because we don't have a pension,
No,
so
we
we don't
don't.
have to worry about it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Do you concur, Stacy?
Yeah, because otherwise their amount would be reduced, the employees' amount would be reduced, and the fire district board was trying to avoid that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay. So that was my two corrections. So with those two corrections, can I have a motion to approve the October 2023
Yeah, that
minutes?
motion.
Motion by Mr. Adams. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Mr. Anderson. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Gauntner.
Yes.
Mr. Lee. Mr. Donaldson.
yes.
Okay. Joanne's not here yet, but I think we can still approve the bills and payroll. We have bills in the amount of $170,194. We have payroll in the amount of $200,681.81 for a total of $370,875.81. Do I have a motion to approve bills and payroll?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion by Mr. Anderson. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Mr. Donaldson. Any discussion? Obviously, if anybody's got any questions on that when Joanne gets here or checks in with us, we could always ask her. But with that, I need a roll call.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Gauntner.
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson.
Yes.
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
Okay. We will skip over the October 2023 financial report for right now, and we'll move on to open public portion. Anybody out there wanting to address the board? Don't see anybody. Okay. So we will move on to legal counsel. Mrs. Dame, do you have anything for the board?
I do not have anything this evening unless anyone has any questions for me.
Anyone have any questions for Mrs. Dane? Okay. We'll move into old business. We have ARPA retention grant. I assume that's you, Chief?
Yeah, we, Joanne called me, what was it, last Sunday or Monday, and I believe that the funds went into the account, and she basically turned around within a day and got everything out to everybody, and the ones that needed a paper check, she came in a few days later and cut those as well. So that's came in and it went right back out, so
So everybody got their money now?
everyone got their money.
Great.
Good.
Wonderful. Well, that was a quick turnaround.
It was, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised for
Yeah.
everybody, as
Okay.
they were, I'm sure.
Okay. Any questions for the chief on the ARPA retention grant? If not, we will move on, Chief. Full-time hiring, is the promotionals, lieutenant captains part of that, or is that a separate discussion item?
Yeah, we obviously with the scheduling challenges we've had, plus some of the open spots and all the backfilling we're going to do here shortly, that's kind of, all of it's kind of ongoing at the same time, and they kind of overlap. Full-time hiring right now, just an update, and I'll cover this now. It's in the officer's report as well. We had 15 sign up for the test, 14 took it. We have 8 scheduled for interviews tomorrow. I believe we have some good candidates in that 8. However, we are going to schedule the rest of them that passed the test at a later date, probably after Thanksgiving at some point. It's been really challenging with running 5-6 people on duty, and then having officers cover other officers while they've been off and trying to get these scheduled. So I commend the folks for helping out with all, it's just been a constant struggle with the calendar, but we are moving through with that. So tomorrow we'll have 8 interviews. The promotionals, the full-time, or the lieutenant's exam is on November 29th. We have 8 of our firefighters going through that full-time. And then obviously we have a captain's position open too that I'm hoping to hopefully, I know we talked about the December meeting possibly being moved, so I'm assuming it's going to be most likely will be moved up if we do that. So the timing of timing of everything is going to kind of be around that middle of December, I feel, with getting everything ready. That's why with the update, if we were to get the full-time hiring, at least the first person through and get them a physical, I feel like we can start them right away since there is an open spot just sitting there. And with the calendar, just so you all know, I counted just from 2022 to 2023 all the overtime shifts that we've had respectively from last year's pay period compared to this year's pay period at the same time. We had 2 overtime spots last year that we paid out. This year we had in one calendar cycle there was 12, and then the other was 38 overtime shifts.
Wow.
Compared to 2 last year, just so you all know.
Wow.
So it's pretty marked, and I think everyone's feeling it. Lieutenant Fallhammer's picked up a lot of the officer stuff, so he's been logging some serious hours along with a lot of other of our folks. So that's going to be coming down the pike here. So the sooner we get these people through, I think the better off everybody's going to be here. Sure. And try to spread the wealth. We're doing 20 pounds of work with what feels like 7 or 8 pounds of people. So hopefully when we fill out the tree, it'll be a lot better for folks. So I'll just lump those together for you there in the old business.
Okay.
Well, and Chief, I assume obviously it's a staffing issue, but I assume the call volume isn't down either. So we're doing 20 pounds of work with even a higher call volume than we've had in the past.
Yeah, it's inching up. I think we're still on pace to do a little over 37, so I think 50 or 60 more. So yeah, it's probably 1 a week, I'd say right now, it looks like, if you project it out. But yeah, you're right. It's just every year, it's been going on for 20 some years now. Every year it just gets a little bit worse. So, but as long as if we get our numbers up with the staffing, we're running with 5 or 6 now. If we can get that up to 8 during the day, and then myself being the daytime person as a 9th, I think that'll just spread the wealth a little bit, and it'll be a lot easier on folks.
Okay. All right. Anything else under that, Chief, or is that it?
No, that's it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions for Chief Meister?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Move on to new business. We have Resolution 2331. Stacy, would you be kind enough to read that?
Yes, this is Resolution 23-31. It's a resolution authorizing the Chief Fiscal Officer to amend the Certificate of Estimated Resources for the year 2023 and declaring an emergency. This was prepared by Joanne. I know she circulated it to the board for any questions, so this is something that she typically does around this time of year. So.
Right. Yeah, she'd sent that out by email earlier in the week. Any questions about that, board members? If not, I need a motion to approve Resolution 23-31.
Yeah, that motion.
Motion by Mr. Adams. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Donaldson. Roll call.
Mr. Gontner.
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson.
Yes.
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Okay, next we have Resolution 2332.
Resolution number 23-32, this is a resolution approving and amending the permanent appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Madison Fire District, Lake County, Ohio, during the period ending December 31st, 2023.
Okay, and again, that's one that Joanne had sent us earlier in the week to look at. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2332?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Anderson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Adams. Roll call.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Gottner?
Yes. All right, we have Resolution 2333.
Resolution 23-33 is a resolution authorizing the fiscal officer of the Madison Fire District to transfer funds from the General Fund 1000 to the General Bond Note Retirement Fund 3101 and declaring an emergency. Again, this was prepared by Joanne, circulated, and I think this is for the bond payment.
Right, this is the bond payment that's due. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2333?
Yeah, that motion.
Motion by Mr. Adams. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Mr.
Second
Chairman.
by Mr. Anderson. Roll call.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Gottner?
Yes. All right, we have Resolution 2334.
Okay, went too far. Hold on. Resolution number 23-34. This is a resolution authorizing renewal of the district's vision and dental insurance plans as recommended for the upcoming insurance year and authorizing payments for said plan. There is an Exhibit A that was uploaded to the board folder and should be attached, and it shows the renewal rates. There is not a significant increase on any of the amounts, so.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2334?
So moved.
Mr. Donaldson made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that,
Second
Mr.
by
Chairman.
Mr. Anderson. Chief, did you have anything you wanted to add to that, or no?
All I wanted to say was the vision was a 0% increase and the dental was a 7%. And I know, I think I updated a couple of you for the committees. And I reached out to the union president, Mike Brush, and he reached out to the members and they were okay with just riding with the Unum plan with the minimal increase.
Yeah, that, I know we just got something at the township today about our dental increase, and it's 5, it started out at 9, and I think it's, now they negotiated it down to like 5.5, so dental in general is gone up a little bit, and
Yeah.
there's some reasons for it. Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Gottner?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
All right, last resolution, Resolution 2335.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to read a little bit more of this resolution because it'll explain where Joanne was going with this and why she requested that it be prepared. So it's resolution number 23-35. This is a resolution amending a previously adopted resolution to terminate the reallocation and reappropriation of funds from the general fund, specifically Fund 1,701,0000 to the Earned Benefits Fund 2904-701-0000 in order to retain said investment interest funds in the general fund, specifically Fund 1,701,000. And whereas it was previously recommended by the fiscal officer of the Madison Fire District that the interest income from investments made by the Madison Fire District be used to regularly fund the earned benefits account established at 2904-701-00000, and whereas upon consideration of the same on or about May 15, 2019, the Board of Trustees of the Madison Fire District, having reviewed and considered the recommendation, authorized the reallocation and reappropriation of the investment earned income from the general fund to the Earned Benefits Fund through its adoption of Resolution 19-16. Whereas upon review of the current balance of the Earned Benefits Fund 2904-701-0000, the fiscal officer of the Madison Fire District recommends that the interest income from investments made by the Madison Fire District should be reallocated and reappropriated to remain in the general fund, specifically Fund 1,701-0000, from this point forward, thereby requesting that the transfer of funds pursuant to Resolution 19-16 be terminated. So the question before the board this evening is, it's not really a rescission of the prior resolution because we've already enacted that. transferred payments accordingly from the investments as we've earned interest. But it's really amending it, modifying it from this point forward to stop that transfer of funds. So the question before the board is whether or not you want to continue to fund the earned benefits fund from that interest income, or what Joanne is recommending is that she feels there's enough in that account balance right now to make payments that may be upcoming to cover us, and she would prefer that that money be retained in the general fund for use on other expenditures. So.
Well, as I recall, we set this up, and where actually Chief Baker did. It was to cover retirement payouts and that kind of thing. I know she sent us an email on this. Do you recall, Chief, how much money is in this account right now?
She said $240,446.38.
So we wouldn't be putting any more money in it based on action on this resolution right now. That money would just remain in there.
In the general fund. Correct.
If we had a bunch of people retire all at once, it doesn't seem like that would be enough money to cover all the payouts, to me.
Me neither.
Can't answer to that. It's
I
the
know you can't.
recommendation
Well,
she's making.
she anticipated 3, and it sounded like that was
Correct.
enough. So I'm assuming she looked at what was out there in balances and did some calculations.
Boy, I wish she was here. This is one I'm not sure I'm ready to
You want to delay it?
vote on until.
Table it till she gets here.
Yeah, I would be more comfortable tabling this resolution until
Me too.
we
I
can
move to
talk
table the
about.
resolution.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to table resolution 2335, by Mr. Donaldson, second by Mr. Anderson. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Gottner?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
And
President, I do have a question. I noticed on Resolution 2332, this is a resolution that lists out all the members of the board. Mr. Lee's indicated on there, so I don't know if that needs to be removed from that resolution.
Right, yeah, when she does the final version, she'll have to indicate that he wasn't
That he
present.
wasn't.
Right.
yeah. And then Lori, if you could for our December meeting, put 2335 back on, because we'll have to remove it from the table and then we can discuss it.
Right.
Yeah, I just would feel more comfortable. I had a couple questions for her on that one. Because I think it was a good idea when Chief Baker set it up, and I understand, I guess I was just trying to understand why she does want to put in more money in there, because I know we have a number of people who, we could see a number of retirements in the next couple of years, and I want to make sure we have money to cover that.
Me too.
Okay. Next, we have Chief's report. Chief Meister?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Some of this stuff I covered a little bit in the old business, so I'll try to move briskly through and over those parts. But celebrate the anniversaries. Mike Brewer is past his 4th year. Corey Kelly is coming up on his 1st year here this month. He's one of our full-time candidates as well. Financial overview. We've collected almost 108% of our budgeted revenue, which I believe was similar to last month when we collected most of the yearly take there. EMS revenue collected, we're about 93% with 2 more months to go to report. So that's looking very good, depending on which side of the coin you're on that one. But we are on pace to do a little over $700,000 for EMS billing. Staffing overview, it's just as in real estate, it's about location. Right now it's staffing for us. We hired 4 new part-timers. They're just now, they've been onboarded. I think we have maybe 1 left, and then they're all basically working shifts now, so they're helping out. We have the full-time process going on as well. We have 3 staff off on injury or illness. And so we're working through those processes too. Unfortunately, a couple of our shifts, like our shift is right now, it seems like it goes in cycles. A and B shift are really taking it on the chin. C shift seems to be the one that's helping cover some of that. But everyone's kind of pitching in the end. Call volume, Last month, we responded to 315 calls for emergencies. 222 were EMS in nature, and 93 were something other than medical, fire, hazmat, service calls, what have you. Like I said before, we're on pace for over 3,700 runs. We had 3,659 last year. And Mr. Lee's graph is updated there, so you can see a little bit of an upward trend. Fire inspections are ongoing. They should be in the folder. Vehicles, no significant changes. The engine is, I believe, still on pace for next month. However, as we get closer here, we'll know a little bit more. New chase vehicle is still sitting, waiting for the light bar. It was a special order because we attempted to try to make everything into one unit to cut down on all the brine and snow and ice and all the beating that the Opticom and the preemption devices take out there. So that was a little bit extra of a weight, but we felt it was worth it. So that hopefully will get done later this month from talking with the installer. Buildings, Captain Henry's overseeing the barn gym down there. It's still moving along, albeit a little bit slow, but it's to be expected with what we got going on with staff. We're starting to get into the finish phase. We put in a few light switches and some lights of that nature. We got some more trim to go up, and then I believe we're really close to. We've been talking about throwing some paint down there. However, we may just leave it more of a natural look just to kind of move it along and maybe deal with that later. But we'll see how time permits. But we're getting real close to spending the money you guys allocated earlier this year for it and getting the folks down there a nice workout room.
Chief, did we drywall the inside or no?
The inside was already OSB wood, like 4x8 sheets, the ceiling and all the walls. So we basically split it down the middle, as you saw with the pictures. And then we're just continuing with the OSB, kind of to keep the match going. Yeah, so it's going to be more of a rustic barn feel, but I think it's still going to be very nice and very useful, and the equipment's going to be top notch. So we're making sure. I advise Captain Henry. I want this to be good for everybody. So take your time and
I think one of the board's goals was to have it equivalent to what we have up here, so
Right.
that it's everybody's kind of has the same things that
Right.
they're sharing between stations.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to look really sharp and when it's done. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the folks down at Station 2. Let's see, we had the officer recommendation. So the testing's ongoing. I described that a little bit ago, so I won't go over that again. Reporting system, Lieutenant Fullhammer still helping onboard us with Health EMS, and we're sunsetting the ERS still on 12/31, which will save us a lot of money with the reporting. They're still helping build out some of the components for everybody. And the new system we're going to is used over a wide variety, a vast amount of departments in this area. I believe the number is like 180 or 190 departments. So they have a lot on the table, as well as getting all this reporting and all the things that we need to operate daily with it. So we're excited about that because we already use it for EMS runs. We're going to now use it for some of the fire calls as well, which isn't quite as many, but still useful nonetheless. Joanna and I went over the budget. There's really not a whole lot of changes. A lot of it was already kind of pre-built from Chief Baker, so we kind of played with a couple of the numbers, but for the most part, we considered the new person for next year and then myself going on days. And then the other stuff, the ARPA was dispersed like I talked about. There is open enrollment for any healthcare changes, so when we bring on a new person or new people, we have to factor those in as well. And then anybody that's currently on the plan has to, if they want to make a change, now's the time to do it. Once December 1 hits, and they have about 30 days to kind of add a spouse or add a child or whatever they have to do to get their insurance up to speed. We covered the Unum renewal. The other thing I want to talk about was Lieutenant Van Kramer. He's down at Fairview Hospital. He underwent surgery. He's got a battle ahead of him, so I would ask everyone to please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He's recovering okay. Things seem to be getting a little better, but he's got a battle on his hands, and we're all very concerned about him here. He's been on the department 35 years. Yep. He was eligible to retire last March, but he stayed on in the drop to kind of, because he wasn't ready yet. So a lot going on with Al, so please keep me in your thoughts. And to report on Jesse's condition, he's doing well from what I hear at Metro. We communicated today a little bit back and forth, and he's on schedule to come home right before Thanksgiving. So, which
Great.
is fantastic, and
Great.
what a great turnaround, and just amazing to hear that news, you know.
For sure.
And again, there's a SCAD fundraiser still scheduled on December 2nd between 4:30 and 6:30 for those that are interested. I'm sure it's circulating on the social media.
Where's that at?
That, I don't know where that exactly is. Is that out at?
The church.
Is
Church.
Okay.
Right on 45, didn't they say?
Yes.
At the last meeting?
Okay.
The
Corner
big
45,
church.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's the only other thing I got to remind everybody of that's coming up on December 2nd. And that concludes my report. I'll take any questions.
Okay. Any questions for Chief Meister?
Yeah, just with the applicants for the firefighters,
Yeah.
you had, whatever, 15 or 14 or 15. How many of those were within?
We had, right now we're on schedule to interview 3 of the people from inside. The 4th one got hired somewhere else, so he took himself out. So three of the 4 that we just hired basically are going to go through the interviews.
So out of the 14, there was,
We had one technically that got on a year ago that's going to go through the interview. The other 2 we just hired, so we considered them inside, but they're brand new. So technically we had 1 person from the inside, the rest were outside.
so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You know, applicants.
Yeah.
It seemed like the first week, 1 trickled in, and then the second week it was like a couple more. I'm like, oh boy. And then it just kind of snowballed.
Well, this is what we've been talking about the last couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, is trying to recruit and, you know, what were you guys doing?
Right.
I mean, that's, and everybody, I mean, are you guys getting applicants from like east of here or?
We did.
where's-
Yeah, we have at least 2 or 3 I can think of off the top of my head. A lot of them are kind of in the county here as well. So
Great.
they said we've met a few of them as they dropped off their applications and doing some background stuff. We got a lot of really good candidates. I think it's going to be
That's
tough on the
awesome.
choosing end of it.
Still, same within law enforcement.
Yeah.
You guys know as well as
Yep.
I do, it's still, we have 7 to 8 openings
Yep.
for police officer in Painesville, and we
Mhm.
had 0
Oh my.
applicants.
Yeah.
So,
No, I feel really
Yeah.
really good about it.
That's good.
I think
That's
all the
impressive.
officers are pleasantly surprised that we got a lot of good applicants, and our reputation seems like it's
yeah,
Good.
received
something's
very well.
working, so good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good job.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, really.
Yep.
I was impressed by that number when he said it. It's like,
Yeah,
wow,
I know.
that's a
It
great
caught my
turnaround.
attention.
Yeah,
Yes,
Me too.
definitely.
for sure.
Yep.
Any other questions for Chief Meister? Okay.
Timing.
With that,
Here comes Joanne.
we have our fiscal officer who her timing is pretty good, 'cause if she's there. You there, Joanne?
I am there.
Ah, okay, we can't see you, but we can hear you, and that's all that matters.
There she is.
Oh, there you are.
There we go.
Okay. Well, your timing's good. We were just getting to the end, we just getting to the end of the meeting. We did approve bills and payroll.
Okay.
But was there anything in the bills or payroll that you wanted to make the board aware of?
No, there was nothing out of the ordinary on there.
Okay.
I think when I sent the letter out to you. the
Yes.
notes.
All right, then we obviously skipped over the financial report from you, so are you prepared to discuss that?
I do have.
Okay.
So our fund summary, our starting balance for.
October was $7,514,831.09.
Our month-to-date revenue was $97,034. Our year-to-date revenue is $4,853,400.
$7.28. Our month-to-date expenditures was $370,875.81. Our year-to-date expenditures is $3,586,308.36. And our ending balance that we started November with is $7,240,989.28.
Okay. And we have made the bond payment now? That was part of what, or we
We
transferred
will
the
be doing
money?
it
Yeah.
here, yes, we will be doing it this month.
Okay, that was the money transfer we did tonight.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Any questions for Joanne on the financial report? All right, did you have anything else under that you wanted to talk about, or no?
No, I think you passed to move the interest back into the general fund.
We need to
No.
talk to you about that.
No, we tabled that till next meeting, and
Okay.
I guess I had some question about it. I know we set that fund up specifically to cover people who retire, to make, payouts on sick time, vacation time, that kind of thing. Longevity, whatever. You don't want to, what's your thought process behind not putting any more money in that account? I think she froze.
She's frozen. Or she's thinking.
She come back on.
3 times.
Well, that's probably why we tabled it.
Well, she's sitting in her office there, so why don't we just ask her to come in?
No, I think.
I'm kidding.
You're breaking up.
Well, I guess, you know what? We probably her system there.
Yeah.
Well, what we can do, we tabled it anyway, so
Yeah.
she knows, we can let her go, and we'll address that next month.
Right.
I don't know if she heard my initial question as to why we wanted to do that.
Well, Mr. Chairman, we did talk to each other about it in the hallway there, and she mentioned that she wanted to do this, and we kind of went over the roster and talked about like who would be retiring. And it seemed like I didn't have a problem with her doing it either. It seemed like we had enough in there for the next 2-3 years, and then if we needed to, we could always reallocate that, I guess, was her thinking, I believe.
Well, we have a bunch of unallocated funds too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, my only concern was we were like not going to do that anymore, I think, if I understood this resolution correctly. And it's like, well, what if we just, do we need to do a resolution to tell her not to do it, or can we just not put money in there for a while?
But we already reallocated and reappropriated it so that it goes into that fund. That's the direction under that previous
There she is.
resolution, the 1916.
Okay.
So that's why we have to amend that resolution to give her authority to stop doing it,
I see.
even if it's temporarily.
Okay, I'm back. Somehow this computer here shut down.
Well, that's okay. Well, the question was, and Chief Meister had kind of weighed in while we were trying to make connection with you, was, your thought process behind not doing this anymore. Because I know in my discussions with Chief Baker when he was here, he was a big proponent of setting up this fund because he didn't want the district to be taking money out of other accounts as people were leaving. And I know we had a large number of people that were going to be eligible for retirement in the next couple of years. So that's why he wanted to set up this account to begin with.
Yeah, and then, like I said, Chief Meister and I went over to see how many was going to retire on there. And we figured that had quite a bit at 240,000 in there. Should cover.
So, would we re-implement putting more money into this account at a later date?
Yeah, we can discuss it again, like at the end of next year, to restart it back up.
What your concern was we would have too much money in this account?
Yeah, we have 240,446 in it right now.
Okay.
And if we get, with us getting like 19,000 in interest a month, I thought maybe that could help us even offset our wages, get another, when he brings another full-timer on.
So it's the interest money that's going into that account.
Correct. Yes.
I'm just concerned it's a slippery slope too. I hear what you're saying. But I'd still like some more time to think about this
That's
before we
fine.
vote on it.
That's fine.
I'd like to keep it on the table if that's okay till next month.
Sure.
How many
Yes.
people will we have eligible in the next, 2 years?
That's a good question.
Do we know?
we could have a maximum of 3, maybe 4, and then after that, it's a little bit of a gap. So, as Joanne talked about, I think, if we revisit it next year, we could always reallocate the
So
money
at the
back
most,
in
we
there.
would have 4
3 or 4, yeah. I
at the
mean,
most.
Right.
yeah, I off the top of my head, yeah.
4 months. Your 4 months, 2 are due, and then in 3.5 years, there's 2 more due.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're spaced out enough to where, I mean, I'm
So that's what
Joanne was
I'm saying.
comfortable
So
with
worst
it,
case
yeah.
scenario,
Right.
we're looking at, let's say, 4. So, and just let's do with the, whatever the
Whatever the payouts
accumulate,
are, yeah.
I mean, what is that max? How much are you thinking that is? Do we know?
I think we've only had 1 retire so far.
Right, but.
So whatever that number
You
was.
can gauge that. I mean, that's why
Yeah,
we do things
yeah.
like this, is. get
I
that-
don't
get
think
that
we'll get close to
approximate
that number.
amount.
I don't think we'll get close to that.
Okay,
Maybe-
I guess
maybe
that's-
half.
I guess that would be my
Maybe half of
concern,
that, yeah.
As long as we're not even close to that, or if we are close, that's what I'm curious about.
Me too.
Is there a way, Joanne, you could project, I mean, look at the potential retirements in the next 2 years and
Yes.
kind of come up with a projection and what you think the payout would be for those that are eligible? And then
Sure.
that would be helpful next month and in my
Yeah.
decision making, if you can do that.
Okay, yeah.
You
I can
think
do
that would
that.
help?
No
you?
names.
Definitely.
Yeah,
No names.
No.
Yeah, yeah, you don't have to give us a name, just
No.
employee
No.
A, employee B, employee C,
Right.
something like that.
Okay, right.
Okay,
Very good.
thank you. Do you have anything else for the board, Joanne?
No, that was it. I think I
Okay.
sent you the letter over, yeah.
Yeah, and you'd send us the emails earlier in the week, which
Yeah,
were
you
real
did.
helpful with the other resolutions, so
Thank
thank you. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions for Joanne?
We do have the 24 budget in our packets.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
do we need to do something with that?
I don't know, did you want to talk about the budget at all, 24, or?
We thought we'd give it to you to start looking, to see if you had any questions for us before the next meeting, so we can pass the resolution to you at the next meeting.
Okay. And you
Yeah,
and
we didn't
Chief,
do much changes. The only changes we really upped was the wages to match with the raises on there. And then the health insurance, we matched it for the number of employees we have of full-timers.
Chief, you've looked at that as well with Joanne, and you're pretty comfortable with it?
I think so. I mean, we'll have to settle out next year with our maximum roster, of course, but I think the projections are solid.
Okay. So the game plan is for us to adopt this in the December meeting then?
Correct, yes.
Okay, okay. Any questions for Joanne on that while we got her on? Okay. Well, with that, thank you, Joanne. You can hang in there, and we'll move on to closing public portion. No one from the public there, so we'll move on to closing board comments. Does anybody from the board have any comments?
Do we have to set the December, if we're changing the?
Yeah, I was
That was
gonna,
gonna be my
I
comment.
was gonna ask that, because at the end, I saw that there was, the next meeting is scheduled for December 20th. Chief, you had mentioned that we might need to move that. Was that because of the closeness to Christmas, or was there something else?
I think December's always been tricky. I think it was brought up either by Joanne or somebody in case somebody wasn't gonna be here or have a quorum. I think we're just concerned so we could have a meeting in December.
So what's the second Wednesday of, what's the date on the
So
second?
that would be the 13th.
13th. Boy, the only problem is we have 2 board members missing here tonight, and I don't know if they're available on the 3rd. We would have a trustees meeting on the 12th.
Right.
We can just reschedule it. I mean, you can make phone calls and we'll just.
We need, 48 hours, I
Reschedule it.
believe?
Yeah, we just have to give notice.
24.
We'd stick with December 20th right now unless, and, you know, if you guys from the village would check with Bob just to see if there's any problem with him, and we'll check with Pete. And then if there's an issue, we can always change the date and time.
Correct.
Okay. All right, any other business to come before the board?
I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and enjoy and be safe.
I thank you, Mr. Anderson, and same to you and your family as well.
Thank you.
With that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Anderson, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Adams. Roll call?
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Gontner.
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson.
Yes.
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
And the meeting is adjourned at 7:40.
Okay.